Yeah, I was a little bit reluctant, but I think it's necessary to briefly speak on taking responsibility and the significance of self-criticism. It's the reason why I don't speak about the government or these racist pigs or system racism. They are who they are. They gonna do what they do. They are a very oppressive, fascist, violent entity, and we are their primary target. What's there to discuss other than how do we defend ourselves against it? There's nothing else to discuss. I'm not surprised. None of us should be surprised. The only thing that surprised me is our response to it. We have to understand that there is a psychosis, there's a direct manifestation of being victims of an oppressive society. And inside that psychosis, there's the victim mentality. There's the defeatism. We spend more time talking about what they're doing to us as opposed to how do we prevent them from doing it. And even when you have these so-called revolutionaries speaking on these issues, they only reinforce that psychosis. They say, well, you can't blame the victim, Abdul. I said, why not? If I slap the shit out you right now and you refuse to defend yourself, who do I blame? If you know who I am, and I'm using this symbolically, if I'm the forces of oppression, if I'm the forces of racial oppression and racial hate, you know I don't like you. You know that if I can't control you, I want to kill you. That's what the forces of oppression does. So if I'm kicking you off in your ass every day, I'm doing my part. But why are you refusing to defend yourself against that boot up your ass? It don't have to be a military defense. There's many different ways to defend yourself against that oppressive attack. But throwing words at it and crying about, man, get this foot up my ass is not going to change nothing. We walk around with a boot up our ass. All we do is complaining. Man, you see this boot? This boot is stuck in my ass. They won't let it out. No, you got to take it out. This is where we speak about constructive criticism and taking responsibility. Just like when you look at the natural disasters that's taking place in the South. We know this for a fact that these things happen every year. We know for a fact that this government don't give a damn about us. Hurricane Katrina taught us that clearly. There's no disputing that. So I ask, why we have yet to take responsibility on our own to prepare and train our community for natural disaster? Prior to Hurricane Katrina, and I've always used it as an example, you had all these different groups and organizations talking about the government's racist, they're fascist, they don't give a damn about us. But soon Hurricane Katrina hit, they criticized the same government for doing nothing. Well, I'm not going to criticize that government. I know they're not going to do nothing. I'm going to criticize all those so-called revolutionary activists and community activists. Because what is your excuse? What preventing you from preparing your community for natural disaster? Even after all the tragedy that have taken place, you still have not prepared our community in New Orleans, in the state of Louisiana. You still have not prepared them for it. We're almost 20 years removed from Hurricane Katrina. Our community is still not prepared. Who you blame that on? If another Katrina hit again, what you gonna do? Blame the government again? What preventing you from preparing our people and community? You said you were the vanguard. You the activist. You the first line responder. Not this government. The people gonna get at you and look at you. What are you gonna do? We already know that the government not gonna do nothing. And when they do something, there's always a trick behind it. But what is preventing us from taking responsibility for ourselves, for our own destiny? It's no different when we say, well, somebody kidnapped our kid, our children, but we do nothing about it. We go right back again and let this government, you can deal with the same government we say they don't give a damn about us. The same government that have its own statistics that say that there's over 70,000 missing Black women and children. What kind of, that's not a good batting average. Why would I depend and rely on them to find our people? Again, that's our responsibility. Not only to find them, but prevent their abduction, their rape, their molestation, their murder. But yet we'll continue to blame them. I remember an activist said, Abdul, so who I'm gonna talk to? I'm not talking to the Klan. I'm not talking to the government. For what? They doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And I give another example, and I say this all the time. You have a brother who every Sunday watch sports, maybe football, basketball, whatever. 2-3 hours sitting in front of that TV. But yet cannot devote 10, 15 minutes sitting on his front porch and providing supervision for them kids while they're playing outdoors. That's the white man's fault again. Don't blame the victim again. But I'm going to place a basketball team or basketball game before the safety of our children. But yet, soon as something happened, cops dig off in their butt or shoot one of them. Everybody's in the middle street protesting. Black Lives Matter. But did it matter when you was watching a football game? Did it matter when you was watching a basketball and baseball game? Did it matter when you was going to the movies and concerts? We're not in the same position that everybody else is in. They have that luxury to party all the time and do all that. But we can't do that. Look at our communities. But yeah, we'll blame the government for everything. And what these revolutionists understand, when you blame the government, you relinquish the community's responsibility for the role they must play. Why should I do anything? It's the government's fault. And again, I'll give a harsh example. If I punch your ass in your mouth, and look, symbolically, I am that force of oppression. I am fascism. I am colonialism. I don't like you. So if I punch in your mouth, and you sit there with blood on your mouth and refuse to do anything in defense of that, what you think I'm going to do again? I'm going to punch in your mouth again. Because this is what I do. If I'm a fascist, I'm a symbolic of this fascist oppressive force. They do not like us. And even when you got to remember, when they do try to help us, it's by design. It's designed to give you faith in their system. If they just say, hell, don't give them nothing, we're going to resist that system. But if you say, well, let's give them this, we'll give them a diamond today and 20 rocks later. But we'll forget about the 20 rocks as long as we get that one diamond. This is symbolic of this system. It's like when we come with self-responsibility, taking responsibility for our own destiny, it's like a curse word. And other activists say, Abdul, you can't blame you goddamn right I'm gonna blame the victim. You're damn right. If you know that this government don't give a damn about you, but yet you still relying and depend on that government, and you know already that this government have turned its back on you multiple times, and you still depending on that government to do for you what you can do for yourself, who am I gonna blame for that? We know damn well that our community is not prepared for a natural disaster. Name one community. I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about name one community. Our community, our so-called community, it's really not our community. The majority of the homes are owned by outsiders. The majority of the businesses are owned by outsiders. The water that comes through our pipes is owned by this government. The power that comes through our homes are owned by outsiders. What the hell do we own? But yet people like to play word games. Well, Abdul, you can't blame the victims. And woo, 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 woo. Okay, I'm not going to blame the victim. I'm going to blame your ass. Because you say you're revolutionary, right? You the first line responder. You on the front line. So when the community needs something, they supposed to respond, get at you. You supposed to respond to the immediate needs. You don't send you the vanguard. But see, a lot of people in our community don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear this. I spent over 40 years in prison, almost 32 years and 9 months in solitary confinement. Not once have I ever made an excuse for not doing my job. I came to prison as a direct result for my commitment to the struggle. I don't cry. I don't bitch about it. I know my actions. I know that I'm committed to the struggle. I knew the consequences of what I was doing. You'll never hear me bitch about it, cry about it. Can't stop, won't stop. I am that new African revolution, the guerrilla in the service of my people. And I want them to understand, to get to them, you got to get to me. I'm not going to use my environment as an excuse for doing nothing. There's no excuse. Whatever skills and talents that you have, you can play a role. Me and my comrades will never make excuses. There's no excuse. Either you're for justice or you're not. I mean, and I told myself, well, I'm not gonna do no more lives because it's like just talk. Because our people lack the political maturity to fully embrace the message, to understand the message. I post up a post the other day of these 3 kids that were strangled and threw in the pond behind the neighbor's yard. And in that post, I said, watch, they're going to cry or they're going to make mad emojis. This is what we do. A crying emoji or a mad emoji. This is what they do. But how many of them is willing to do what's necessary to prevent our kids being victims of child molesters, of rapists, of being murdered? How many is willing to do that? But we'll pay lip service and it's out of emotions. That is a subjective response. That is not going to stop the abuse, rape, molestation of our women and children, the abuse of our elders. It's not going to stop it. It's not going to help us build a safe and secure community that's self-sufficient. It's not going to do that. But we'll sit back and pay lip service. Lip service is not going to solve these problems. When you look at the forces of racism, colonialism, and fascism, they're not paying lip service. They got boots on the ground. This so-called law enforcement is the enforcers, the military, the corporations, the so-called school systems. They are committed to our oppression. They are committed to staying on top and protecting that status quo. Why do you think it's any different from us? They not sitting back and say, we hate you niggas. No, they showing you they hate us and they gonna keep us oppressed if not dead. They have a system in place and they have people that's committed to that system. We speak about freedom. Are we committed to being free? What are we doing to show and reflect that we're sincere about being free when we can't even support each other? That's like Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa became a joke. It's commercialized. Every year, December 26th, we're going to talk about Umoja, unity. But then when the 7 days over with, the 8th day, what have you done? What have you done throughout that whole year to build unity in your community? We play with words. We call them these unnecessary rituals. Those 7 principles didn't come from Ron Karanga. Them 7 principles came from our ancestors from Africa. These are life-breathing principles. When we speak about Umoja, that means 365 days, Umoja, 365 days a year, I am working on trying to unite my people. I'm going door to door to meet my people. I'm going door to door to form some type of family unit among our communities. We got cooperative economics. We got collective work responsibility. How can me and these 3 other families pool our resources together to aid and assist one another, to be that example and get more family members involved? So when Kwanzaa do come, we say, well, this is our unity. This is what we have done in our community. Beating drums, lighting candles, and wearing dashikis don't mean shit. When we are fragmented, we're culturally disfigured, don't mean nothing. It is a ritual we get caught up in. Because you get most of the people in this country that commemorate, celebrate Kwanzaa, ask them what have they done throughout the whole year to unite their people. Ask them what have they done to establish cooperative economics in the community. Ask them. It becomes a ritual, a commercialization. That's it. Unity is a life commitment. You work on it every single day. You're doing something to solidify unity among your people. Collective working responsibility is that you are working with others to build and free our community. Cooperative economics is committed to pooling our resources together so we can fund and finance the programs and institutions we need. And this, again, I'm going to give you another example of political immaturity. You have a lot of groups that's out there passing out grocery bags. I applaud them, no doubt. I applaud them. But then I ask, what are we trying to do? One brother said, well, no, we're trying to end hunger. I said, you can't end hunger by passing out a grocery bag. Is it necessary? Yes. I'm not saying it's not necessary. Because of many of our people are starving, you have to do something. But what I'm saying, what is our objective? What is our ultimate goal? Is to eradicate hunger and starvation, right? Passing out a grocery bag is not going to do that. You have to understand that. That means we understand that this is just a temporary fix. But in the meantime, we must acquire land to build people's farms so we can have people's stores. But they get all put in most men. Wait a minute, see, and this is what you mean by political maturity. They have an ego attached to that program. That ego prevents them from reanalyzing the program itself. You have to have a farm, multiple farms, because this is what I told the dude, and he got all emotional. He's still getting emotional. I said, dump that bag out on the table and identify every one of them items that came from our people, our farms. None. They all came from the oppressor. So how are we showing some sense of independence and when we have to, again, depend on our enemies' pantries, depend on our enemies' farm to feed our people? It becomes a feel-good thing. It's not about feel-good. It's not about emotions. Are we serious about eradicating hunger and starvation in our community? That means we have to develop our own farms. We have to own and control every store in our community, which can be done. Yes, we have to turn the community to a food basket. Every land in our community must become a farm, a community farm. So when we do pass on the grocery bags, everything in that grocery bag comes from us. That's controlling our food source. And the health, and as well as how healthy it is. This can be done. Another thing you have to understand, when you study the Black Panther Party, I grew up in the Black Panther Party as a cub. We passed our grocery bag. That was a fix at that time. If you understand the signs of struggle, that means, okay, we studied the struggle. Did that end hunger and starvation? No. It didn't even put a dent in it. And then I try to explain, if I come down and get a grocery bag today, I'll run out of food 3 days later. There's no guarantee that you're going to be there. I might be at the end of the line. You may not have enough food in the pantry to be there 3 days from now. You're playing with me because now I'm hungry again. And it's this switch, off, on, off, on, off, on. I come down today, I got a grocery bag. Woo, I eat my grocery. 3 days later, me and my kids hungry again, I come down there, where you at? That is only placating the problem. And when you try to explain this to them, they get all mad because their emotions involved. They don't have the political maturity to compartmentalize. Set your ego to the side because it's not about you. One of the things we say is this: whatever program or institution we put in place, we constantly monitor that program because it's not about you. And how we monitor that program, we go to the people. If we say that this program here is specific for the people, or this institution is specific for the people, then we go to them and ask them. If they tell you, hey man, Abdul, that shit ain't working, man, and you get enough response like that, then you are obligated to go back to the drawing board and redo it. But most groups don't even do that. Most groups don't even know the people that they're serving. But yet you're a vanguard of who? Your ego? Every program institution that you establish in community, you must have a clear communication with the people that you say you're serving. If I got a program that is specifically targeting the eradication of hunger and starvation, then I must go to every community door to door and ask, is our program working? If not, what can we do better? If you're sincere about eradicating hunger. But a lot of times we do stuff just so we can pat ourselves on the ass and say, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Then you ain't no real revolutionary then, because changes have not been made. One of the basic principles of revolution is change. from one way to another way. So if I'm starving today, then after this revolutionary change, I should be overwhelmed with food. If that's what I'm sincerely fighting for. But if you continue to play with it, I'm just gonna give you a spoon of beans every day. I'm not trying to end hunger. Just keep you alive long enough so I can exploit you. That's what the government say. And a lot of revolutionists saying the same thing. I'm gonna give you just enough to exploit you. But how about enough to liberate me? That's going to be done by acquiring land, developing our own farms, and providing that for our people on a regular basis, getting them involved, getting all them foreign stories about the hell about our community, and that can be done. If we see a vacant house, we can purchase that vacant house and turn that house to a people's store, and make sure all our people go to that store, not the other store. Shut that store down. Refuse to put money in that store. And that's when we come back and say, check this out. We offer you this here for your store. Because you're not going to make no money. You can't sell the store for $80,000, $60,000. It's not worth it no more. Either you're going to sell it or we're going to shut it down. Because we're not going to go to your store no more. And most of them foreigners is going to sell it at a reasonable price. Then we'll turn that store to a people's store. It can be done. The blueprint is there. But it takes people to commit themselves to their blueprint. And I'm talking about on every issue that pertains to our community. Check this out. We don't have to put a gun in our hand to stop pig brutality. I'm from the underground, so I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for our people in general. You don't have to put a gun in your hand to stop pig brutality. The potential of a violent response is enough to check them. And what I mean by that is this. What prevent Russia from invading the United States? The United States got their red button. That red button is symbolic of a nuclear weapon. What prevent the United States from invading Russia or Japan or China? Or, and Japan ain't got no nuclear weapons, but they got a strong military base. That'll keep your ass in check. India got nuclear weapons. Pakistan got nuclear weapons. Where's our nuclear weapon? At this stage of development, our nuclear weapon is unity among our people. We know not all brothers and sisters going to come together. We're going to always have these Negroes and infiltrators. That's part of the process. You're going to always have them house slaves. You're going to always have them. But what I'm saying is that we show a unified front across the board, economically, politically, even though you may be a socialist. I'm a new African Revolution nationalist / guerrilla. That's who I am. And you may have these different brothers and sisters with different beliefs. If you show that united front, true cooperative economics, collective work responsibility, coming together for our people, for ourselves, and the pigs understand, we're not going to be doing no marching down the street talking about Black Lives Matters and breaking windows. You are dealing with a force that have no problem checking your monkey ass. When the government understand that, I guarantee you're going to be less knees on your neck. They won't have to respect that power, but we have no power. And it's all about power. United States and Russia don't like each other, but they respect each other's power. United States and North Korea don't like each other, but they respect each other's power. Can't get around it. You jump in the ring with Mike Tyson, you're going to respect how hard he hit. He proven that already. If he get one in, he'll knock your ass straight out. You're going to respect that. But what do? We throw little words out there. No justice, no peace. Black Lives Matter. Shut up. At the same time, we marching down the street talking about Black Lives Matter, they killing another brother and sister down the street in the same city. How many times have that happened? And then within 3, 4, 5 days, we back home again doing our thing. We ain't even tripping on no Black Lives Matter no more. Next time something happens again, we out there again talking that shit. Yeah, I seen that, sis. I seen that, Teresa. I seen my love and strength. You know that. So I'm saying, and these are things that we have to deal with. But then people say, well, Abdul, you're constantly blaming. No, I'm not blaming the victim, but we have an obligation to take the responsibility of our destiny in our hands. Simple as that. It's that simple. And these are things that we have to do. Like I was saying with regards to natural disasters, whose responsibility is that? Ours. What's stopping us from preparing our community? I'm gonna give you another example. And I did this when I was in solitary confinement. I started a satellite network committed to not only finding our Black missing loved ones, but preventing their abduction from the beginning. So I asked people, everyone that said, what can I do? I said, post a picture of a loved one. That's it. It's been going, I mean, we've had this almost 10 years. Don't you know we've only had about 6, 7 people that have been committed to posting pictures up on our website and our Facebook network? But who I blame it on? The white men again? The government, the Ku Klux Klan? Who I blame this on? Mars? Oh. As soon as I say something, oh man, Abdul, who I'm being hard on? We got kids being abducted, murdered, raped, molested. We already know that the government don't give a damn about them. Amber Alert is not for us. And Amber Alert are proving that to us already. Because for every 200 white child missing, they make sure 1 or 2 Black child. That right there alone should tell you, okay, we have to develop our own response to this. But we never see the role we play in our own oppression. We always point the finger at the white man. And we empower that white man when we do that. Because what we're saying, we helpless. We can't do nothing. The same person got his foot up our ass, can you feed me? The same person got his foot up our ass, can you educate me? Huh? And then let's look at Miami, instead of Florida. They remove Black history from the schools, from the colleges, and what are we doing? They try to say that our history got a bunch of lies and distorted facts. But we know for a fact the history they teach is lies about us, about themselves. We know this for a fact. That is proven and established clearly. Their history books is full of lies. So why do we have our kids going to their classes then? We should demand a ban to American history when we know it's a goddamn lie. It don't take nothing to prove that American history is a lie. But yet they're teaching that. And then they're going to remove all Black history, even the books, from school, even to the college level. And it's about to spread across other states. The other states are trying to do the same thing. But I expect the government to do that. So I'm not tripping on them. I'm talking about our response to it. And I'm talking about the majority of our kids still going to school, learning their history. That bullshit line as history. Especially in the state of Florida. No, you pull them out. Get them out of there. You're going to stop us from learning about us, then you want us to learn about your little lying ass. They say Abraham Lincoln was a great emancipator. You better go check his history. His own statement tell you that he was a white supremacist. He himself told you that. He in his own words said that he is superior than us. He said that in the speech. But yet in school they teach you that he was the great emancipator. He plays racist dog shit. You feeding our kids bullshit. We can prove that. But yet look at us, like slaves. We still got our kids going to them schools, learning that bullshit history. They will remove our story from their schools in Florida, and other states about to follow it. They removed some books the other day. About 2 weeks ago, they removed some Black history books. But yet, we got our kids going to their schools to learn about their lives. But don't say nothing, Abdul. We don't want you blaming the victims. Who else I'm gonna blame? Again, like I said at the beginning, if I punch you in your mouth, and this is what I'm designed to do, I'm symbolically representing racial oppression. Fascism means I don't give a damn about you. So you shouldn't be surprised about punching your mouth. And you don't do nothing about it, I'll punch your mouth again. What you gonna do? Man, the racists punch me in my mouth. The fascists punch me in my mouth. The system of oppression punch me in my mouth. That's what we're supposed to do. We punch in the mouth to keep you in line. We punch in the mouth to keep you under control. So I'm going to accept being punched in the mouth then. Walking around with a constant mouthful of blood. I mean, what happened to you, man? What happened to you? We both bleeding out our mouth. Man, I refuse to fight. I'd rather just get my mouth full of blood. And then when you say something about it, then you get some so-called revolution. Abdul, you blame the victim. I say, yeah, let me punch in your mouth, see what you're going to do. You going to fight back, right? Yeah, then why the people can't fight back? We show them how to fight back. Defend yourself. I'm not just talking about a physical defense. I'm talking about economically, politically, socially, culturally. Defend yourself. Defend yours. You don't have to pick up a gun to defend yours. Defend it. It's no different than I was talking about what's going on in Florida. You defend that by refusing to submit to theirs. We're not going to learn your shit. We can prove your shit's a lie. This is our story. That crap you're teaching us is a bunch of lies. That's how you defend it. We refuse. Pull them out of there. We come to school just for math then and science. That's it. Everything else you can keep. But no, we won't do that. And the black athletes that are being exploited, well, because we think about ourselves. That's the system of capitalism. It breeds individualism, greed, materialism. And the thing, sis, a lot of people don't really understand the 10-point programs. What people don't understand, the 10-point party program was really blueprint towards building institutions, our own justice system, our own housing, control all the homes and businesses in our community, economically, militarily, politically. The 10-point program of the Black Panther Party was basic blueprint for building an institution in the service of the liberation of our people. I think I said enough, people. One love, real love, peace.